So where are we off to?
Alright guys, as you know, we still need a mast. We didn't find one. So there's a Mahe 36 in front of us. So we're going to chase him down, find out where they're anchoring. In the night, we're going to steal it.
We're going to commandeer.
Yeah. Pirateering. That's what we're doing. No, we're changing anchorages. So we're following friends of ours. And we're going to follow Irie Cat to another anchorage where we're going to spend a night or two before we both go in different directions for about 2 months, and then we're going to meet up again in the Berry Islands. So yeah, but first we've got to get out of Red Shanks. Oh, look where I'm going.
Hi, we are Erica and Davy, an adventurous, slightly crazy couple who has taken on the challenge that is a hurricane-damaged catamaran. We have come so far and are beyond happy to be floating once more. Subscribe to our channel to follow our journey. Take a chance. You never know how perfect something may turn out to be.
So Red Shanks has been awesome. And I kind of wish we had known about this place. I mean, we did know about it when we were here 3 years ago. And our lives were slightly different 3 years ago as well. But it's so flat calm in here. It's like a lake. It's beautiful. You have protection from every direction. It's phenomenal. So we've really enjoyed our time in here, but it's time to move on and explore some other areas. Also, one little note, coming into Red Shanks, we were a bit nervous because the navionics chart said that the shallowest part we had to go over was 1.9 feet. When we came in here, it was actually 11 feet. So that's one of the first times that we've noticed that navionics has been really, really off. We definitely had a lot of space, and yeah, hopefully it's the same on the way out. It is high tide right now, so we should be absolutely free and clear. Ooh, our anchor light's still on.
Another thing to add there, what Erica mentioned about the navionics, we don't just use navionics. That is my primary go-to on the helm, but we also have iSailor on the iPad, and we also have the Garmin chart plotter with another. So we've got 3 different sets of charts on board. So we do compare things, and the Explorer charts on paper. So we do check things, but navionics, we noticed this time it was way off.
En route to Goat Key.
We didn't make it.
No.
This epic long voyage of 6 nautical miles. What happened, babe?
Well, if you can see behind me, there's a bit of a rain cloud. We're not worried about getting wet, but it does have some lightning activity in it. So,
spoken to our buddy boat and decided we'll just drop the hook, let this little system pass over by, and then we'll continue again. So we have seen a couple of lightning strikes in it, so it's probably best just sit still and wait, and we'll stick nice and close to the boat with the mast so they can be the lightning conductor.
So whenever there's any form of storm, lightning, rain, anything, this is where Fox wants to be.
We can't catch a break. We just anchored in this beautiful place, and the windlass, well, when I was dropping the anchor, I noticed that the windlass was kind of shaking a little bit. It doesn't normally do that. So I told Davy about it, and we have issues. What's going on?
It's probably easy. I've actually taken the top of the windlass off and I've got it in the cockpit at the moment, and the base plate is basically worn. The bolts that go through from the motor through the shelf here have stripped themselves and all the rest of it. So I'll show you that part in a minute when I take this off. I'm going to try and come up with a plan to rebuild the base using some different bolts and some JB weld and some other. I'm coming up with the idea on the fly. Let's see what we can MacGyver. The motor is good, all the gearing is good. It's the base plate and how to fix it back down again. So let's just give it a go. But I want to take this off so that when I drill the new holes, then I've got something to align it all up with. So bear with me.
It's funny seeing you in a different hole, not the engine hole.
Yeah.
So down here, you can see we have our engine, our Mercury 15. We've stashed it up here for the time being. So I don't know if we have touched on this yet, but obviously we are using a different dinghy. Have we touched on this?
I don't think we have.
So you might notice we have 2 dinghies now.
I know we haven't been sponsored by Highfield.
I know.
Unfortunately, but feel free. Feel free, drop an email.
No, so when we first arrived in Georgetown, a couple days after we arrived in Georgetown, there was a boat that caught on fire. So it was a brand new Fontaine Pajot Astria 42, I believe. It was called Warrior. A beautiful family. They had just left the States. So it's kind of a sad story. So we're basically doing a favor for them. Their dinghy was left here. They went back to the States. So they needed their dinghy back in the States. We're moving that way slowly, but no one else really was going that direction or offered to take it. But considering we are a slow power cat, we didn't mind towing it behind us. So we're taking it back to the States for them. So it's beautiful. Center console. Fancy thing.
I'm not going to want to give it back, Dave.
You're going to want to keep it.
I might change directions. I might have to go south, mate. I might have to take that dinghy with me.
It just doesn't fit on the davits.
No.
It's too big.
It doesn't actually fit. So what we'll have to do is get a bigger boat with bigger davits and we can keep the dinghy. What do you reckon, guys?
So this is the moment when, do you think we should sell Barefoot and keep that dinghy? What's that?
Can you get me a sweat rag, please? I'm all sweaty and oily and horrible.
You don't want this
Dry my
grey
face.
one?
That's got too much stuff on it.
You always need something. So this is why you have a cockpit table.
Yeah, comes in quite handy. Yeah, there was a reason they put them on these boats. So this is what we're mucking around with, guys. So these bolts from the factory are set in here. There's another 2 of them laying around somewhere. One there, one there. One is sheared off, this one. This is stripped. This is stripped, and this is stripped. So I'm thinking, but also what we got here on the top, this area here of pitting is all actually corrosion. It's actually gone. That's supposed to be flat and like this surface here. So what I'm thinking of doing is drilling out those holes, making a flat surface, sinking through a bolt that goes all the way through in the meat that's good, and using some JB weld, so I'll protect the bearing, what's left of that bearing. It's not very, really not very good, that bearing. But the thing is, we're not going to be able to get, I could probably get a new bearing here, but the thing is, I don't know if I get it out of this base. There's not enough meat left on it. Let me do a little bit more investigation and I'll get back to you guys.
Fox, is there dolphins? Hi guys! Hi guys! Where's the dolphins? Where are they? Where are they? So in case you didn't know, there was dolphins. There's still dolphins and they're coming back. Hi guys! So Fox isn't too sure what to think about the dolphins. She tends to bark at them and try and scare them away. But anyways, Davy is still working on the windlass. He did have a small swim with the dolphins himself. What do you think?
Alright guys, so I'm trying to put this back together. So what I've done, I think you can see here, if we zoom in, all this pitting here, this whole area is supposed to be flush up to here. Unfortunately it's not. So what I've done is I've cleaned all this out the best I can with the Dremel. The bolts that had come out the bottom, it's difficult to see them right now, but what we used JB weld to put them back into place, see if that'll hold them. Now I'm going to fill this area here with epoxy, so that will give us a flat level place, and then we can bolt the motor back on tomorrow. Fingers crossed, this should work.
And there's dolphins in the background.
And there's dolphins swimming around everywhere.
Fox! What, you can't get there?
Go jump in with them, Fox. Stop barking and swim with them if you want.
Arf! Arf! Fox! Foxy! Fox is not impressed. That one was definitely leading her on. Is that going to stop the bearing from turning?
No, the bearing is sealed. I've sealed the bearing back into this housing here. Packed it with grease. So now all we can do is wait. It should pretty much dry. Water level.
Yeah.
But I should do, because we're on the water.
It's not too swelly in here.
It is moving slightly. We'll see what happens. If need be, I have sandpaper.
Excuse my hair right now, I feel terrible. We have this side swell happening. And we haven't been able to go anywhere because obviously the wind, well, we could obviously pull up the chain by hand, but that's no fun. And Davy's been working on finishing the windlass, so.
All right guys, so got it back together. As you saw yesterday, I poured the epoxy under this plate here. I've actually screwed it back together quicker than I liked. I would have done it on camera, but we just had a massive squall going through and I don't like being without my windlass. So I screwed it back together. Anyway, that pour that I did with the epoxy, that leveled absolutely beautifully and perfectly. So everything on here works great. So I've got a greased bearing in there and that's all gone back together. I've also put in the epoxy, I put an O-ring around it. So like this, around the shaft. So that is now slightly higher than everything else. So that should stop water from going down into the bearing. It's a bit of a bad design. There's no way out for all the water that comes up with the chain to get out from there. So by raising that up, slightly tapering it off and putting that there, then hopefully the water will come out the side here. The bolts that are in there, time will tell if that works. It is just JB weld, but it feels nice and solid. We've peeled a bit of chain up now, so fingers crossed that JB weld holds. We'll keep an eye on it. If it doesn't, what I'll do is I'll take this base off again one more time. I'll drill through the epoxy that I've put in there, aligned up with the motor on the bottom, and I'll just put 4 new bolts that go through the epoxy, through the aluminium, so I'll just countersink them down into that new epoxy. So I have a backup plan, but we'll see how this holds first. So fingers crossed, should all be good. I think it's actually going to be better than it was before.
Now can we get it a Dodge, because this side swell sucks. The last screw.
Well, 2 more.
2 more. What does that do? Is that...
It's just a cover. To be honest, it doesn't do a hell of a lot. But hey, we'll have it on.
I've always looked at it before and I never thought it did much.
No, it's supposed to be down there. Hey, it is what it is. It's not that bad.
As long as it works.
Yeah.
Now until we move, I'm going back to being horizontal because that's how it feels better. And we're off! Woo! Yes! Thank you, thank you.
No problem. You didn't like that side trail, did you?
No.
So I finally got Erica out of the swell. Changed the anchorages once again. We come back over to Monument. This is actually one of our favourite spots.
Yeah. But I'm so happy we went in there because I got to swim with dolphins. That's
Yeah.
a one in a lifetime.
That's the first time you've ever done anything like that.
Oh,
Hasn't it?
it was amazing. And that is the only way you should swim with dolphins. In nature, in the wild. They shouldn't be penned up. They should be free to come and play with you if they want to or swim away.
Free the dolphins.
Free the dolphins. But it was freaking awesome. Like it was, oh, even just.
She still hasn't got
so
over it, guys.
Good. So I'm super happy we went in there, but I'm also super happy we're out of that as well. So. Yeah.
Thanks for watching this week's episode, guys. I'm going to try and calm Erica down, and we'll see you next week.